Hello and welcome to my Alaska Tours series of flights. Today is part 7. And we have a slippery runway here.
Approaching 5.
A lot more slippery than I thought. Golly. Okay, back. Yeah, I had a lot more precip.
100 remaining.
A lot more precip on the runway, on the taxiways than I thought. So had to make some changes here so we could get up back out to the runway where we're supposed to be.
On runway 5.
So, as I was saying, this is part 7 of my Alaska Tours flights. Today's flight is from Adak, Alaska, which was our destination on part 6. And we've got the precip that was supposed to have been here yesterday. It's about 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll take a look at the route and departure. Well, at the departure, we're going to do a RNAV departure. Part of the snafu is I think I got my brakes confused. So we're going to be doing the JLOX 3 RNAV departure out of Adak on runway 5. Takes us up to JLOX for a little bit more than 4 miles, then Ibali, and then out to the west to Seabid, then back to the east to Lanark, which, by the way, is one of the initial approach fixes into the ILS 2-3 approach into Adak. And from here, we'll be going to direct on route to
on runway 5. On runway 5.
All the way up to Dutch Harbor. And there from we'll take a J15, 115 through Cold Bay VOR to Banal intersection and continuing to Kuta to Tani and finally into the ILS 1-2 approach at King Salmon. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. This is the King Salmon VOR. It takes to the VOR, then back out on the arc. So I'm going to take that out. It's already removed from the FMC. So we'll go direct to go direct to no gas and fly the arc and back around for inbound for the approach. Okay, so for flight planning, we've got this is the inbound course on the approach in the King Salmon. It's all RNAV here, so GPS. So once we get LNAV going, these courses, of course, will indicate courses to our next fix. V2 is 134, so I've added 15 for 149 for our bug speed. First fix is 061 heading, so I got 061 on the heading bug. Flight level 380 is our planned cruising altitude. There are absolutely no restrictions except where we need to be above 9,000 at Onak. I believe it's 9,000. Yeah, 9,000, which should be about twice that altitude. So I'm going to go ahead and arm auto throttle. Well, get that.
On runway 5. On runway 5.
Yes, thank you, X-Raz. Get both flight directors on. I'm going to go ahead and arm VNAV. I'm going to try. I don't think LNAV is going to arm here. Oh, it is going to arm. Okay. I never know when it's going to arm, when it's not going to arm. Okay, we're going to blank the lower ICAS. Okay, so we don't taxi diagrams. Go ahead and make our before departure. Actually, we do that up here. Turn the wing lights on.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
And we should get a little message up front.
Cabin is secure. Have a good flight.
Roger that. Thanks much. You too. Okay. Going to get the chronometer started. Get the brakes released. I'm actually expecting heading select to take over initially. We'll see. JLAX, our first fix is straight ahead. Okay, power has been commanded.
80 knots. B1, rotate. Positive brake.
Flaps 2, gear up. Correction, gear up, flaps 2. Nope, LNAV's in.
400.
Yay, LNAV's in command. And captured.
4,000.
Okay, flaps 1 and autopilot on. Cool. Okay, a little slow here. Oh. How about, there's flaps 2. Gear off. There's flaps 1 speed, so we go flaps 1. And run the range out here just a little bit. And we're just passing our first fix, JLEX, or coming up on it. And we're up at flap speed, so flaps up all the way. Go and get the wipers off. Now what's happening here? What's he doing? I have a conflict of interest here. I have no idea what that means. Some reason it's turning around. Let me go back and see what it's doing. It wants to go back to JLEX for some reason. Probably because it didn't activate LNAV. I mean, it was active, but didn't really give it command to get going early enough. So I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell it to go direct to Eboli. I don't know why it's saying this. I want to direct to Eboli. Because it want, oh, I see, you wanted to go back to ADAC VOR, but that was not on the flight plan. Yeah, that's okay. Let's see what the heck we're doing here. Okay, that's looking better. In fact, yeah, okay. I'm running the flight on my second computer, my Minimac, and so now we're turning towards Eboli, which is on the RNAV departure after JLX, and it's doing a nice turn back out to the west to go to it. And I think I'm going to do here is going to request direct LONOC, which is fixed after that. That'll save some time. Then I'm going to go back and sit back and figure out why the heck did it want to go back to the ADAC VOR. It was not on the departure or in the FMC, so I'm not sure what was happening there. So actually, what we can do here is actually I'm going to go ahead and request direct LONOC. which is almost at our 12 o'clock right now. Oh, we got some.
Keep all passes at all times in case we do encounter any unexpected clear turbulence. And for everyone's safety, make certain all your personal belongings are free to clear the aisle. You may not use all approved personal electronic devices. We'll be serving a variety of complimentary drinks as well as select beers, wine, in addition to their other alcoholic beverages before purchase. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our service on tonight's flight. If there's anything we can do to make it enjoyable, please don't hesitate to call upon us. Thank you.
Okay, almost at Evilly. I'm going to do. I still have 2 miles to go. I'm going to. Well, okay, now it's going to start heading towards Seabid. I'm going to tell it to go direct to Lonoc. The Seabid is what 20 miles out to the west, then reverse course the other direction back to Lonoc. So I'm going to go direct to Lonoc. It's 34. I'm saving 25 miles or so instead of going way out to the west. I would imagine if it were a busier environment, we might need to go there, but in this case, and try to keep the flight a little shorter, we'll just save that. All right, we are off and running. The only restriction altitude-wise was to be at 9,000 at Lonoc, and we still have 30 some odd miles to go to it, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay, we're coming up on 50180. Go ahead and set standard pressure. Actually, which it already is. I forgot to set local altimeter for departure. Okay, there's a fuel warning. We need to turn off the fuel pumps for the center tanks. Let's go ahead and I'm going to set the with the local altimeter. Setting is going to end. Gosh darn it. Hello. And that way it'll be set for arrival. There goes that stupid fucking. Actually, it's not yawing, it's pitching. Okay, now I'll go ahead and set standard pressure. All right, what we need to do here is turn off the center tank fuel pumps. We just exhausted all the fuel. Well, this is kind of disappointing. It's 2 flights in a row now it's done this. But what is good to see is LNAV stayed active. Heading select wanted to take over there, but if I had switched on the autopilot closer to 400 feet, which is actually not. Oh, here's a.
This is in regards to a special meal. Would you please identify yourself to a flight attendant? Passenger Escobar, please.
A little bit of funness there. Oh, let's see. Let's get wing anti-ice on too. So I'm going to be befuddled on that departure because I could see it was well, the only reason I knew that something was amiss because it started to turn around instead of proceeding up on the departure. But as soon as I saw altitude constraint AKN, which is the ADAC VOR, it was obvious it was trying to go back to the ADAC VOR, which is not on the departure. So I am not sure what happened there. This is what's starting to be real bothersome. back. Really not actually turning the aircraft much, it's just this darn wheel. If you go back and look, oh, maybe just slightly. And look outside. Yeah, it is. It's rolling. It's really strange. It's 2 flights since this happened. So I'm going to run the range out here. There's 160 mile scale. Here's our top of climb. It's a 360 or 320 scale. So we're about 80 to 70 miles from our top of climb. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This is Zibo's little EFD, REFD, electronic flight bag. Let's see. I don't think this is what we want. Yokes Auto Center. Oh, that's supposed to be. Let me turn that off and back on. Oh, that didn't do anything. Okay, it's got above that flight. Disconnect autopilot. I'm not sure. Yoke movement. Disconnect autopilot. I think this well, all right. I'm going to hide the yoke. For now, I don't like to look at it. It really is doing banking, though. It's really frustrating. Oops. All right, well, we're down here. Here's our econ climb page. It's commanded now Mach 0.71. We are going 50380. Top of climb is 25 miles. 0504 at 0504. While we're here, let's check the progress page. So here we go. This is our last fix. Our current fix is Dutch Harbor BOR. 324 miles at present location. 0544 is ETA. Estimating King Salmon 780 miles. It's 0646 with 9,000 pounds of fuel. So we did good on the reserves. So 0646. 0646. So about what, hour and 7 or 8 minutes to our destination. Right now we're 438 knots over the ground, climbing 1,800 feet a minute. Yeah, the pre-flight went normally. Everything's turned on when it's supposed to be turned on. In fact, let's just double check. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to get the internal power to the generator. Battery's on the bus. Let's go ahead and turn it on battery. Nope. It needs to be on the bus. Excuse me. Now damper's on. Forgot to turn the strobes on. Yeah, I'm gonna, during our break while we're in cruise, I'm gonna Google and see if anybody else has experienced this. Well, here I'm going to go and turn the lights up a little bit. I seem to always forget to do that. So overhead lights are up. And with the luxury of the yoke out of the way, get some lights up on the panel. The lighting in this thing is just beautiful. It's such a great job.
1,000 to go.
1,000 to go, confirmed. Okay, it's getting up to our cruising altitude. Got the clouds up pretty high, so I did adjust weather. If you were watch the part 6 of our flight from Kodiak to Adak, I had changed the weather so we'd have a little more inclement weather on our approach and landing in Adak. Well, that didn't quite happen, right? So I changed it for departure anyway. So, these are cloud tops we see here. So let's see, let's get an update on our ETE. Let's see, take a look at our speed first. I set a higher cost index this time. I expect a little better, excuse me, ground speed. Does not appear to be the case. We're still about the same ground speed coming the other direction. Thanks, VP. Thanks, VP. It's my Myers parrot. She just had a little snack, and she's on my shoulder. Okay, I'm doing a recording now, so let's be civil. So let's see, Dutch Harbor is 285 miles. We can just barely see it there coming up. We're on a 320 mile scale right now. Oh, I forgot to turn, oh yeah, weather's on, okay. So let's, our ETE to King Salmon is 0649. That's going to have estimating a little bit less on fuel. Still within safety margins. We should have about the same weather in King Salmon as we had in Adak. They're both almost, they're on the same elevation. I'm not going to leave the weather leave the weather the way it is. So 0649, wow. So looks like an hour and 41 minutes. King Salmon. It's actually it was less mileage just than from Kodiak to Adak, which is I thought I was thinking King Salmon was further to the north, but it's not. It's actually a little bit southwest of Kodiak, and the way you Navigraph flight plan, it's 827 miles, which is about 80 miles less. So I estimate the topic of descent to be in about an hour and 20 minutes. So, I need to make a level off cruise message.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we've reached our cruising altitude. Looks like we are anticipating on-time arrival. You're going to have to turn on the seatbelt this time. Just remember, if you are in your seats, keep your seatbelts fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence by the flight. And if there's anything we can do to make your ride, to let a member of the crew know.
Okay, so about hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes to our top of descent, somewhere in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and we'll talk with you on our descent in the King Salmon. Hello, and back with you. We have started our descent into King Salmon. We're out of 50380, now descending through 50340. And VNAV is in charge of our descent. I've set 3,000 as our altitude, lowest altitude to go to at this point. It knows all the altitudes it needs to observe. And I'm going to go ahead and put some spoilers out. Now armed, now they're out. Help on the descent. The VPI shows are still above the path, and we should catch up with it pretty easily. Readily, I should say. And estimating YAVU, whatever fix that is, at still it's 624, and the King Salmon about 5 minutes after that. So we're now back on the path. VPI says we're good. And I'm going to go ahead and make a descent announcement. Yeah, there we go.
Once again, from the flight deck here, on our descent, seatbelts out, for our round, look up about place for two for their seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again, so you have a nice week. Everyone here very shortly.
So, you may have noticed the yoke is not vibrating, that's not the right word. It's not rolling left and right in little spurts. And while we are on the break there, although I did not find anything definitive, searching Google, got a couple cues, a couple of hints, and so what I did was actually go into calibration, and well, it's easier if I just show you here. It's if anyone's interested, we got a ways to go here for our descent. I'll bring the scale in one more time here. Get a 40-mile scale. So let's see if I can get to it here. Calibration. Okay, so this is what was happening. Well, I'm not seeing anything right now. What was happening is that the yaw numbers here were going from 00000 to a minus number, and you see the scale here is from 0 up to a minus 30. This is interesting. I may have to see what the next flight does, but I just gradually increase this number to where the pitching got very small, very minuscule changes, and the aircraft was not changing bank at all. But what is interesting is that maybe what happens over time is when you put in the null zone here like this, it eventually nulls it all out, because I'm not seeing anything here. These numbers were changing constantly up to some fairly big numbers, 0.1 and it would go up to 0.1 and 0.45, 0.45, 6, 7, and so forth. So, which is nice. I don't know how it's going to fly when you take the autopilot off. Hopefully it will get some roll activity. But be that as it may, that's the skinny of it. So let's see. It's still commanding an econ descent speed of 335 knots, 420 some odd knots over the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and check our approach ref page, get that set up. So I'll be lining, lining 105,000 pounds, and my choice of flaps is 30. So 126 is going to be our VREF. Click it again and puts it down here. And these values will now show up on the airspeed tape on the PFD. It has auto-tune the ILS, which I have also set in manually. In the navs, 110.3 is identifier for the ILS. 119 is the inbound course. So we're looking good. Okay, 0621. Let's take a quick check of the progress page. So 0629 is our estimated arrival time to King Salmon. It was about 14 minutes from now. And need to go back to local pressure. .3009er. So the speeds look pretty good. They'll get much slower as we start adding drag and flaps. So let's take a quick look at the approach, what we're going to do. So here we are coming in, going direct to Nagay fix. Then we're going to fly outbound on the 10 dm arc. 2,000 is the minimum altitude. I've set 3 for now. Glide slope intercept is, procedure turn inbound is at 2,000. So that's what we'll go down to. It's a standard 200.5 ILS. We should be fine. We still should have about a 1,800 foot ceiling with visibility now down to 5 miles. Just the one runway. No, I take that back. There's a crossing runway. We're going the longest one. There's no taxi back, so we'll be back taxiing on the runway. Okay, let's center up our chart here. Okay, let's go back to the airplane. Okay, it's descending through 11,000. So shortly we should be seeing a pretty aggressive move by the FMC here to start slowing us down. I don't know why, but the throttles have a tendency to do a lot of back and forthing here. It should be reducing the power so we can slow down. And it looks like it's going to be a little late on the slowdown again. We're bringing in our range. Now we're on a 20-mile scale. So let's see. Right now it's planning on, well, 250 knots on the arc, but that'll change when we start adding some flaps, which I'm going to do as soon as we get a little lower here and get down to our desired altitudes. I sure hope I've got roll control. I don't know, I've never messed with that null zone before, so it certainly stopped the banking, that shallow bank left and right pretty dramatically. So I don't know, I just have no idea what it's going to do when we disable or disconnect the autopilot for our landing. I have set 116, the same as our inbound course, on both course selectors. And if it comes to that, maybe what we'll do is just do an auto land and let the airplane land itself. I don't know. I just don't know what this null zone is going to do. I may have to go back and then disable that null zone, because I did not see any movement in that yaw mode at all. So I think I might have that standing by. So we got 5 miles to go to Nogay. Still pretty high. We do have the arc to fly. So I think I'm going to do here, only setting 1,000 feet a minute. I'm going to bring the spoilers back up. Whoops. I'm going to leave them armed. Oh, here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding some flaps. That should command some lower speeds from the FMC. So you already commanded 168. So we're about 10 minutes out or so. I'm going to make our last announcement to the cabin, and then I'm going to get that other menu handy. And then she'll come up and say secure. Oh, that's right, this one comes first.
Give us a few moments of flight attendants will be coming through to collect all remaining service items. Please assist your flight attendants by bringing all seatbacks upright, returning tray tables in the secure position, and double check the security of your seatbelt. At this time, all electronic devices must be turned off and stowed. Thank you.
Okay, just went to 5 degrees of flaps. That should slow us down pretty nicely. Okay, we'll see auto tuning of the ILS up in the upper left-hand corner above the horizon here for the ILS on the PFD. And I'm going to go back. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this, having such a big null zone. What is interesting is it was in the yaw mode, not roll. So I don't know. This may not have any effect on airline control. But I'm going to have this handy just in case. Okay, looks like we're about well, coming up almost halfway through the arc. So it's commanding 148. That's pretty slow. It's doing it because of the flaps. That's fine because I want to get down to altitude. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and set 2,000. Yep, it just auto-tuned. That's it, 14 miles out right now from the fix. And we're right on the arc. 10 DME is showing on the King Salmon VOR right here, 10 miles, so we're right on the arc. So I'm gonna, well, I want some more drag. I don't want to add any more flaps right now, so I'll just give it some more spoilers. I'm going to go to the approach mode on the ND here shortly. Here we're coming up on one of the lead-in radials we can see right here in the RMI. When it gets 90 degrees, then we're on the approach course, so we're within about 10 degrees. It's already turning inbound, I think. Oops. Someone else. Gosh darn it. Let's do this one. Okay, well, looks like we're... Whoa, this is kind of surprising. Okay, it shows that it has not captured the localizer. I may need to go to heading select here. Maybe just so we can't get that localizer. See, it does this. In route, that's fine, but it cuts the corner. I've noticed pretty sharply. That's okay. Well, it disabled the approach. I need to get over here to this localizer. It looks like we're fairly still close to glide slope. We got to get the localizer, which should be coming live here very shortly. And we're still, well, 12 miles out. So I'm going to rearm the localizer for right now. Yeah, it just cuts that corner. And I've noticed that FMCs do that. En route, leading a turn is fine, but not in this situation. Okay, so we have captured the localizer. It's in the midst of capturing it right now. I'm going to go in arm to full approach so we can capture the glide slope. And it should capture it right away, which it did do. So we're on, localizer is captured. Glide slope is still yet to be captured. I'm going to go ahead and go flaps 10. They're about just under 11 miles out. And let's see, looking for missed approach altitude. It's 1,700 feet. Oh, and it's 200-foot decision height, so I'm going to set that on. I'm going to write the right place. That's not it. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Speed is right where I like it. I'm going to go ahead and go flaps 15. I'm going to go ahead and lower the gear. I'll go ahead and set 1,700 MCP, so when the PNF calls missed approach altitude set, missed approach altitude will be set. Okay, I'm lowering the gear. About 7 miles out. Well, about 1,800 feet AGL right now. Okay, broke out at 1,600, so I was pretty close to what I thought. Okay, let's go flaps 25. In fact, I'm going to start preparing for manual landing. I'm disconnecting auto throttle. I'm winding my physical throttle here. Oh boy. That got us way too fast.
Speed stabilized, Mr. Birchout, suit set.
Right, thanks. Okay, we're 800 feet AGL. We need to go one more notch of flaps. So our speed, we want to decrease by another 15 knots here. So then
Approaching. 1, 2.
then I'll reduce power all the way as we get close to the flare. I read something interesting. It actually says that the Zibo mod, taking off autopilot, has a tendency to nose down. I've been noticing that quite frequently. So I might hold off disconnecting here a little bit longer. Hopefully I won't have to go to that null zone. Okay, speed's looking good. We're BREF plus about 10 right now. Okay, power's being back to idle. That's okay. No, that felt okay. Let's get a little bit of thrust reversers going here. And a little bit of rudder.
80 knots.
Rudder. Okay, discontinuing thrust reverse, adding brakes. Okay, I really like hearing these.
Until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain turns off the passenger seatbelt sign. At that time, please check right there. Read an area for all your personal belongings for about 4 days a day and use caution to help maintain the compartment. Thank you for flying with us today. Hope you had a pleasant experience. We look forward to serving you again. Thank you and have a pleasant afternoon.
Okay, I'm gonna go and lower the speed brakes, bring the flaps up. Oops, I like watching it. Well, I just might save these settings and see what happens next time around. That was okay. I had plenty of roll authority, it felt like. So what we need to do here is make a U-turn. Oh, wait a minute. I should get the taxi diagram out. I see a taxiway up ahead. Oh, it does have one. Let's use it. I don't know why I was thinking didn't have one. Okay, so the PNF has lowered the speed brakes, brought the flaps up. Oops. Well, that was pleasantly a surprise, actually. I did not know what to expect. I am happy to see that. Did I turn off the taxi light? Let's slow down here. Oh, I never turned them on. I think. Let's turn all those on. Let's get the APU on while we're up here. Waiting for the low pressure light, just came on. I'll have that running for us. That looks better. Okay. Well, welcome to King Salmon. I'm going to have to, the terminal's away at the other end, so I'm going to do an expedite here. Well, I was almost tempted to try a auto land. Frankly, I don't know if the 700 does it, and what the regulations require. I know in the 747 I taught 747-400 for flight safety Boeing, 3 autopilots, left, center, and right, and all 3 had to be on in order for a land 3 is what it was called, auto land. So I was almost tempted to do that. Might do that one of these days. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna stop the aircraft and let's pause and take a look at that approach. Okay, we're coming in, and chase view deluxe is still something I'm not the best at, so this is just a shift 4 view. I can scroll in, but I can't scroll out. This will be good. It's kind of dark. Oh, we wiggled the wings a little bit. Got the runway turn off lights on. That's what's illuminating the engines, I believe. Now somehow I turned off the taxi light somewhere when I went to the overhead, I think. Okay, let's go back to real time. So we got the aircraft pretty cleaned up. I'm going to turn off some lights here in a little bit. Well, that's quite interesting. Up to minus 30, minus 225 is which I had set, which nulled out that cuckoo banking. I don't know what you'd call it, but I was happy for that. Okay, let's get off. This is interesting. You don't need those lights. Need the taxi light for now, and I need to get back taxiing the airplane here. Anything else? I turn that one light off. Oh, I have something really embarrassing to say. If you watched my part 6, which was Kodiak to ADAC, I couldn't get the doors open. There's a real simple reason why. I don't know, maybe some of you caught it if you did see that happen, but the reason why the doors wouldn't open because I never shut the engines down. Boy. That's pretty involved. Okay, now I'm going to stop here. I'm actually not sure. Usually I just back taxi. I think we're crossing the other runway. That's what this is. But I know we need to go away to the west end. I think that's the terminal straight ahead. Yeah, that's the crossing runway just crossed. And we have to go on into the ramp there and then actually turn around, face back this way once we get there. You know, actually, I think we may run into a dead end here. I'm going to stop again. I'm going to bring up AVS, see if it what it shows for King Salmon here. I usually back taxi on the runway and then get off at way at the other end, but it does not look like. Yeah. All right. Well, this is interesting. It shows we're about to cross the crossing runway. Looks like we're gonna have to back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what's happening here. I'm gonna have to turn right on to crossing runway 18 and 36 and back taxi on 12, which is what I usually do. All right, let's get going here. That was a little too fast there. Sorry. Sorry, nose well. Put a strain on it. So we're on the short runway. I thought we crossed over it, so that's a good lesson. From now on, I'm just going to back taxi on 12 and 30. First time I came here, I stopped way at the other end, thinking, you know, there were a lot of buildings at the other end, so I thought that's where the terminal was. But nope, it is way down here. Okay. During the break, some of the threads I read where some people were having problems with the autopilot and bank, not specifically what I've been experiencing, but and what I read is that the Zibo 37 is based on the default 737 from Laminar Research, but it's a different model. The Laminar Research's default 37 is the 800 version. So I'm not sure what that was referring to, but I could not find anything about what's been happening here. The other speculation I had is that per the checklist, you're supposed to prior to engine start, you turn the electric hydraulic pumps on, along with the fuel with the fuel pumps. And I can't remember now; it's been too long. But I have not been turning them on until just before engine start, which is pretty standard. So what I might try doing is next flight here from. We'll be here from King Salmon back to Anchorage, short flight. I might try turning those on during the pre-flight, overhead pre-flight. Usually I turn the battery on, get the APU running, get those generators going, get the IRSs aligning, and then go ahead and do the FMC work, enter in departure, route, and then arrival, then do all the performance calculations. Then I need to go up to the overhead and then pre-flight that, turn on window heat and so forth. I think I might try doing is turning on the electric hydraulic pumps at that time. Then again, I may do nothing because it works. I had no problem landing the aircraft, although granted I did not do any rolling. But it felt good, so if it's not broken, don't fix it. Oh, I think we need to go over here. I haven't been here in a while. I'll go outside here. Oh, we could have turned there. Actually, two, it looks like. So that's a pretty good flight. I was pretty happy. A little bit of snafus on the departure out of ADAC, and why the FMC wanted to fly back to ADAC VOR, I have no clue. It was not on the SID. It was not in the FMC. So fortunately, you know, it's pretty easy to edit what it's doing, so able to recover. And I think for our trip back to Anchorage, I'm going to lower it down a little bit more. We broke out about 1,600 feet on this approach, and lower the visibility down, see what it's like to fly down close to Cat 1 minimums. Okay, Alaska Airlines announced arrival of flight 738, arrival from ADAC, continuing service to Anchorage. Oops, I brought the power back a little too far there. Come on, baby. And I should turn off the taxi light for a non-existent ramper. Oh boy, it's like no one's home in the terminal. If I could not find the problem with this rolling bit, I was going to actually grab Zibo's 900 and see if it's duplicated. So since we don't have a marshaller here, I'm just gonna, well, let's see, let's get back inside, see if I can get us, well, almost there now anyway. Okay, parking brake set, overhead. I don't know why it says ground power available. That's not available until you bring up the DHD set. Anyway, APU generators are going online. Takes the engine generators offline. And for my goof on the last flight, why don't we shut the engines down this time? Yep, there we go. We can monitor that. Watch shut down. Yep, we're shutting down. Now let's go ahead and turn off the fasten seatbelt signs in, shutting down. Turn those lights, or yeah, the fasten seatbelt signs off. I'm going to leave the window heat on for now. It's only like 1 degree out there. Turn off pitot-static heat. Nice to see wing anti-ice and engine anti-ice working nicely. Electric hydraulic pumps go off. Left pack is going to go on. I'll turn the right pack off. APU bleed is going to go on. And let's turn the anti-collision light off. Wing light's already off. Nav lights are on steady. Start switches will go to auto. That's the start position switch. Fuel pumps all go off. And leave the aft on the left side for the APU. And let's turn the taxi light off. And let's go ahead and end the flight. Okay, let's go ahead and bring out the ground handling folks. Again, this ground handling, I'm not sure what the D stands for, but this ground handling plugin is from Jar Design. It's great. The only thing I found which was a miss was the alignment of these two air stairs was off. I don't remember if it was too high or back or forward. I don't recall offhand. And also in the text file where this information is kept, it was airstair_1, and so these would not appear at all. So once I got rid of the airstair, the 01 or _1, then they showed up, and then I went about editing them so they would end up on our doors. Okay, yay, we can open the doors. And we're getting provisioned for the next flight. Actually, they're adding cargo and provisions. That's okay. I love it. All this detail, it's just wonderful. Okay, King Salmon, here we are. That's why I'm going to leave it. And again, I apologize for some of the snafus we had on departure. I had a problem with the throttles because I have to use the keyboard sometimes because I have to steer the aircraft with my joystick, and the tiller on my throttle does not function for the nose wheel tiller, so I can't control it there. So somehow I got throttles going and coming with my physical throttle as a thrustmaster along with my keyboard commands for the throttle. So that's why we end up kind of fast, and so I had to stop and then taxi on back and get in position. Okay, enough jabbing. Thanks so much for viewing. Certainly always appreciate comments. That's always be great. If you like what I'm doing, with the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to keep doing this. Have another, oh shoot, probably 6 or 7 flights planned for the Alaska Tours flights series. I'm also going to be flying SSGs, that's Supercritical Simulation Groups 747-8, which I love. A couple flaws I don't like, but that's another story. As a flight training instructor, a former flight training instructor for Flight Safety Boeing, it's just fun to get into a newer version of the 747, along with Javier Cortez's FMC. It's just a gas. So I'm going to probably next flight do a flight from here and back to Anchorage, but then I think I'm going to do a couple flights in the 747-8. I've got a couple trips planned there. I'm going to pretty much do flights around circumference of the lower 48. So that'd be interesting. Hope if you like that at all, please have a look-see when I get those going. I do have one flight uploaded right now. It's a trip from San Francisco to Seattle in the 747-8. It's a longer video, longer recording, because I do a complete cold and dark startup. And had to stop a few times because of taxiing issues, but it was a good flight. FMC did not auto-tune the ILS early enough to utilize it right away, so I had to intervene with airspeed and descent rates to get down and capture. It all worked out fine. The next flight I plan to do is Seattle to either Salt Lake City. I really love flying into Salt Lake City. That place is just a gorgeous place to fly into on a nice day. And then either there or go to Seattle to Minneapolis. If I go to Salt Lake City first, I'll be going to Minneapolis after that. And then from there going to Boston, south to Miami, and then heading back out to the west. Okay, I said I was going to stop jabbering. I'm going to stop jabbering. Thank you ever so much, and we'll talk to you on our next flight.